This is Twit.
You know, Apple came in yesterday and said, well, iPhone sales are down 17%, but we made money in services. I don't think there's any dark cloud. Well, maybe there is. You tell me.
Over
Microsoft's earnings, yeah.
Oh, no.
Pretty good.
Microsoft is a solid
good.
and diverse company.
You know, it just, again, and by the way, their stock price went up and they made $1 trillion.
Yep. Market cap.
Yep. Third company to be worth $1 trillion market cap.
We're number 3. It always takes Microsoft 3 tries. That makes sense.
It does.
Pretty good company. Apple and Amazon, they're not trillionaires either at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Still, I think the market, for so long, Microsoft stock was just stagnant. I mean, for
it was crazy.
A decade or more. And now it's just, it's a fair-haired,
yes, they are.
friend of, I don't know. What is that? What is that? Are you using a hookah now? Is that a hookah?
This is my former
a hookah.
Big gulp mug or whatever this is.
It's a little bubble tea.
We talked about this before. Now I already forgot the name of it. Some Dunkin' Donuts cup from the 80s.
So let's start with cloud revenues, because that was the big number, right?
That's always their new number, the number they hold up as the way you should think about them and look at them. Commercial cloud, that fake category they made up, which is Office 365, Azure, Dynamics 365, EMS, like anything that is a cloud-only thing, plus some LinkedIn revenue. It's just like kind of this amorphous category they created.
Is there any Newt or Eye of Newt or
there might
Widow's
be some
Warts
Eye of Newt in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, and they stir it.
Yeah.
Bubble it up. And this quarter, which was their Q3 for fiscal 19, $9.6 billion for those things combined.
That's amazing.
So their whole
still not a
revenue
business, by the way. Still not a.
No, it's not. Their whole revenue pie for this quarter was $30 billion, and so about $10 billion of that was commercial cloud. But again, like Paul said, it's not one of their 3 main businesses in terms of how they break out their financials.
It's not even a business within another business. It's a pretend metric.
It is. Yep. But Wall Street loves that pretend metric, and they kind of live and die by that pretend metric. We don't even know how much of that is Azure, by the way. They don't break out Azure revenues. Many people believe because they don't want to be compared to AWS, because that would be pretty much a direct comparison.
And AWS is king of the hill. I mean,
much
hard
bigger.
to beat.
I would say that AWS is the Sony PlayStation 4 to Azure's Xbox One.
Is it? I think it's worse than that, actually. But okay, if that's where
I don't know. You think it's worse than 2 to 1?
Yeah, isn't it? I don't know.
I don't know.
It is hard to know, too, because now Amazon's going to be in the hybrid cloud thing, too. And are they going to start combining their hybrid cloud revenues in with AWS? I would assume yes. And
they should, but I don't see any. They're not going to get a big uptick there.
I wouldn't think so, but they are trying to go after more enterprises.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Microsoft. They had a great quarter. And a big part of the reason they had an unusually good quarter was Windows, which they actually did say during their call, which was surprising because, Microsoft doesn't like to talk about Windows anymore. They talk about Microsoft 365, but not Windows.
The chip shortage is finally over? Was that part of it?
Yeah. So they actually said that, Paul.
Yes,
they did. We talked about that with the last quarter, right? They said the reason Windows was off last quarter was because of Intel's chip shortage. And this quarter, they said, you know what? We thought that chip shortage was going to continue until June, but it actually ended earlier.
But then Intel called us and said, we're not pretending that anymore, so you can stop using that.
So they say because the chip shortage was over, Windows OEM Pro growth was up 15% for the quarter.
Okay. But the chip shortage was in low-end chips.
And then they said the low-end device also was up, the non-Pro. But yeah, I'm just telling you what they said.
I'm not buying it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, whatever reason, Windows was up. But the reason, by the way, was not migrations from Windows 7, which I did ask them. I said, so is the real reason that Windows was so high this quarter because everybody's getting off Windows 7 and going to 10? No. Nope.
Right.
Not
It's healthy.
yet.
They said Windows 10 deployments across new and upgraded PCs remains healthy.
Right.
I assume healthy is, in this case, is anything that is a positive number.
I would think so. Yeah. Yeah. So we don't really know what happened there, but Windows had an unusually good quarter. Surface had a really solid quarter in terms of revenues. We don't really know how much money Surface makes or loses because they don't disclose that.
Revenue is $1.3 billion. I mean, it's obviously down from the holiday quarter, but it would be, right? First quarter of the calendar year is not going to equate to the holiday quarter. But, we're always looking for that 1 billion figure on Surface, and we got that. So I think that's good.
Yep. That was good. They had a really good quarter. Again, Office 365 commercial. They're up to 180 million users for that. So that's not the home and personal. That's just the business group there for 180 million. They hadn't given out that number in a while. They've been giving us
I was curious about that. It was 34.2 on consumer.
Yeah, you know what I think happened was last quarter when they did that, everybody was kind of making their own estimates as to what that number was, and I think they were like, okay, let's get everybody on the same level playing field.
I think the biggest number we got from Office was actually for the Outlook mobile app.
Yeah,
which they say now has 100 million users.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Wow,
yeah, that's
iOS and Android combined. That's big.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. So, I mean, it was like they were firing on all cylinders, except Paul's going to throw in one bucket of cold water here, I believe, on the next minute. But
the Xbox is a business. I love Xbox. You know this. I got a number of complaints last week because we didn't have any Xbox stories. So, spoiler alert.
I got lots of non-complaints about that, but yeah.
Yeah, but this isn't about you, Mary Jo. So,
Paul.
No, however, Xbox as a business today is not much of a business. And I've talked in the past how they had an up quarter. I think it was the previous quarter, literally only because of Fortnite. And this quarter was down across the board. They're not selling as many consoles. The software's not selling as well. They don't actually say Fortnite, but they literally said the benefit from this one game title was not as great as we thought it was going to be. Like the Fortnite thing has kind of died down a little bit. So obviously Microsoft is transitioning Xbox, the business, to the cloud. And that's not something that happens overnight, but we'll see the first xCloud stuff. In fact, we've got some xCloud stuff later in the show, but they'll be testing that later this year. And I think Microsoft can turn gaming into a solid business once they do move it to the cloud. But man, we're just treading water here, waiting for the helicopter to arrive at this point.
Help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.